if we're looking at how this thing is starting to shake, I think there's still a belief, and I wrote about this morning. By the way, speaking of diehard content, the What We're Hearing version of the Bears Things newsletter went out this morning. Mm-hmm. In my breakdown on Mike Vrabel. So, but it seems like if there's a world where Mike Vrabel doesn't end up as the head coach of the Patriots, so by the way, we're moving remarkably fast. They fired their head coach in 2 seconds after the game. They knocked out the Rooney Rule requirements by Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
Pep Hamilton shouldn't count. That's ridiculous.
Oh,
no offense to Pep Hamilton.
Pep Hamilton's a good coach, by the way. So I think Vrabel's going to New England tomorrow, and they could potentially hire him. And I think there's a very strong belief around the league that's how this is going to play out. But if it doesn't, it could be, from what I've heard, they're going to talk to Ben Johnson. And if Ben Johnson loves Drake Maye, which could be very much on the table, and one thing to consider with the Patriots is, while there is this assumption that, Bob Kraft just loves Vrabel, wants to bring him back in the Patriot family, keep going with the Patriot way. The thing about the Patriot way is it was actually the Belichick way. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they're trying to get away from that. And Robert Kraft, I think, wants to separate and create a new era of Patriots football away from Belichick. So, again, I'm just, from some of the conversations I've had over the last few days, it's opened my eyes a little bit more to the idea that we can't just assume Vrabel's 100% going there, even if it's the most likely outcome. That's all I'm trying to say. So, if they go the Ben Johnson route, then maybe Vrabel's available for the Bears. If they hire Vrabel, then right now it sounds like the two top spots that Ben Johnson's considering are New England and Chicago. So regardless of all this, it does seem like we're in a world where we need to compare the Bears versus the Patriots. These two jobs, regardless of what the candidates are, the point of this segment is to just look at what the Patriots are offering up, what the Bears are offering up, and look at the pros and cons of it. So let's start with ownership.
We're going to lose.
Ownership / structure of, how things are set up, faith in ownership, wanting to work for Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles versus if you're going to New England, Elliott Wolf's not even technically, he has roster control, but he doesn't even have the general manager title. You would seemingly have a lot to say over personnel if you went to New England. And that could be a plus. So we're handing that one over to the Patriots in terms of an edge.
We call that a landslide edge?
Yeah, probably.
That's a landslider, feels like. Okay, keep going.
Probably. Now, when it comes to quarterback, this one's a little bit harder to give a definitive edge to because I think this is a pick-your-flavor type of deal. I think that Coach A might prefer Caleb Williams over Drake Maye. I think Coach B might like Drake Maye over Caleb Williams.
Right.
Both teams have good young quarterbacks on rookie contracts. So if you think about it more that way, I think this is a split. I think they both check this box. I think the Bears and Patriots both check the quarterback box. It's more up to the candidate for which one they prefer. And we don't know that answer right now.
I think that's fair for anybody who would pick New England. They're going to like Drake Maye.
Right.
Yeah.
And for all we know, Ben Johnson might prefer. We don't know what his draft grades were last year. They weren't really looking hard at a quarterback, but I'm assuming he spent some time watching both of these guys. How about overall roster, though? I don't know if you guys know this. The Patriots roster sucks. Nice. They are really where the Bears were the last time they hit the reset button. When Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles came in, that first year when they were just tanking. So I'm not saying the Bears roster's headed to the Super Bowl by any means. Let's just start with the playoffs would be great.
And it's also a very much evolving roster, too, that we don't know what's going to look like, all that, too.
But if you were just to lay out the talent between these two teams, the Bears do have that edge, and it's not even – it's similar to the ownership thing. It's very clear. The Bears are ahead of the Patriots in terms of talent on the roster.
Shout out to you, Ryan Poles. You got the Patriots beat in a landslide, damn it.
Yep. How about cap space and draft capital? Both
we
of these
lost to them.
Except for the fact that
that's a good point. That is a good point on that one in terms of overall talent. The Patriots killed the Bears. What are you talking about?
Oh.
A little bit more
attitude.
Yeah, a little bit more
attitude won that day.
As Bears fans like to say, but that was coaching. Everybody liked Paul's roster. That had nothing to do with the players. That was just all on Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Right?
Well, really?
I don't really have a comeback to that one, but come on.
I have a comeback, and it's called "Shut Up."
I have a comeback.
That's my favorite comeback of yours, by the way.
It's called "Have You Seen Discord?" Carm. Anyway, I love you, Discord. I love Belmo and whoever else.
Yeah, don't talk about Belmo. That's my guy.
Hey, Belmo's the man.
All right.
Everybody in the Discord. I'm going Discord today. I missed the Discord. It's been a crazy week.
Yeah,
Anyway,
all right, let's stay on
Okay, I'm back on
topic.
task.
All right, here we go. We got, regardless, cap space, draft capital. That's the next category here. Both of these teams are in good spots from that standpoint. They have draft picks. They have cap space. No roadblocks in the way there. This is what I was thinking about this morning, and that actually matters. And this is more of a visual type thing. If you're to come in the building right now, and you want to be kind of wine and dined, right? One of the strengths the Bears actually do have is Hallis Hall is immaculate right now. It is a good facility. It's big. It has the amenities. If you ever go up in the offices, if you go up in the draft room, they have the technology. It's actually very pleasant walking around. I would avoid putting them in the media room at all costs because it's the only area that hasn't been updated in 40 years.
There's hot cocoa. They got hot.
Yeah. I'm talking about the room with the cubicles.
Yeah, no,
technically, the PNC Center where they do the press conferences, the Midway, that all looks great too. Yeah. So, but the point there being, that is a strength. The weather sucks this time of year when you're trying to hire a coach. But other than that, once you get them in the building, that's a plus for the Bears that they do deserve credit for. And right now for the Patriots, they just announced in December that they are breaking ground on a new standalone practice facility. The way their situation has always worked is their practice fields are right next to Gillette Stadium. Is it still called Gillette Stadium? Or they changed that? I don't remember.
We're not worried about that.
But regardless, they have the same. But so they use their stadium facilities and then go outside, and there's like kind of a long walk actually to get out there to the practice field. Point is, Bears to me definitely have the edge with practice facilities today. However, if you're willing to be patient, the Patriots practice facilities are supposed to open up in the spring of 2026. Those aren't there today, though. Again, if you want to come in and see it, feel it.
If you want to be really, really patient, the Bears are going to have all that in Arlington Heights, all that nice stuff there.
Yeah.
So take that.
When 5 coaches from now, they will have that done. That's right. And then, all right, let's get to the last two. Strength of division. Another way to put this is, how likely is it you're going to come in and win? What type of resistance are you going to get from within your own division? Now, obviously, the Patriots have to go up against the Bills, who have taken over that division from the Patriots over the last, I think, 6 years now it's been. But the NFC North right now,
pretty tough.
That could be a problem in attracting a coach right now. There's no question. Now, I would argue things are cyclical. Things change quickly. I don't necessarily know how much this one actually matters. But right now, in the moment, I think you'd feel better about trying to go win in the AFC East than you would in the NFC North. That fair?
It's fair.
No one's arguing that.
And then the last one, talk about location, talk about fan base, how much they care, type of interest, a quality of living. I think they're pretty much equal.
I don't.
Okay. Strong sports markets. You live in Indiana.
He loves it.
What do you know about Lake
Indiana?
Forest?
Me, I live in the Chicagoland area, the Chicagoland metropolitan area. In fact, I live closer to Soldier Field than you do, you schlub. And
that's
I
not
will
where
also
you live
say,
and practice when you take the job.
I'm just saying. All right, fine. They have the fan. You're gonna say location and fan base. They won all these Super Bowls, so they got a bunch of these bandwagon ass fans. We are loyal.
It's Boston.
People from Boston suck, and we are better. And just because they've won a bunch of championships doesn't make them as people better. They're worse people. We're better people. Our fan base is better.
Yeah.
And if we had as many championships as they did, we would handle it with grace.
Yeah.
There'd be
we had Jordan, they had Bird. Period. End of
right.
story.
And when we
We're
had
better.
Jordan, did you see any obnoxiousness from our fan base? No. We carried ourselves with dignity.
46
People from
to 10.
Boston, obnoxious.
Yes.
Stupid.
Yes, we're so classy here.
Thank you.
What is Noah in the comments? Hoge lives in Wisconsin. That's a lot worse than Indiana. I live 10 minutes from Hallis Hall.
You live in
Ron
Wisconsin.
Rivera, too much Ron Rivera talk, lived in my neighborhood when he was coaching for the Bears.
You live in Wisconsin.
And somebody said, if I live
where they live.
Well, and somebody said, I live in Wisconsin. I must live in the Chicagoland area too. Yeah, if you actually read a map, the Chicagoland metropolitan area consists of 3 states, part of Wisconsin, Illinois, and part of Indiana, part of which I live in. And maybe that's where the Bears are going to build their stadium. So keep talking, and you will not be able to park in my cul-de-sac. Keep talking.
I actually made a pledge yesterday to Greg that this is the summer that I come to the cul-de-sac, and I'm gonna bring floaties and I'm gonna swim in Braggs' pool. There will be a video. I'm going in this summer. I'm changing my opinion. I've stayed away from
the wrong address.
I'm going to the pool.
This is a perfect opportunity for my first accidental drowning.
All right. Do we hit all the categories? Do we miss the last one?
No, that's it. The only problem is that it came out equal.
Yeah. Well,
but I guess my point of doing all that is, I think you can make cases for both of these. It's probably comes down to quarterback. Do you prefer Caleb Williams or Drake May?
Well, when it comes down to Mike Vrabel,
can we get Ben Johnson on the show tomorrow and ask him that question? And then it would just save us so much time.
Well, I do find
if you just come on the show and be like, I'm sorry, guys, I like Drake May more.
And I do find it interesting, and we'll see how things progress. But right now you have Ben Johnson apparently agreeing to interviews with New England and Chicago, but not Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And then you have Mike Vrabel, who's had interviews with New England and Chicago, but not the Raiders yet. And I know he has those ties to Tom Brady, so I'm assuming he would take that interview, but to this point, that hasn't happened, right? So, like, as it stands, between the 1A and 1B that we keep talking about, like, depending on which way one goes or decides, it does feel like we would become the leader in the clubhouse for the one the Patriots get.
That's why I think there's a big connection here between these two. By the way, Ben Johnson, according to Schefter, will interview with the Patriots on Friday, and I believe he's scheduled for the Bears tomorrow. So
Jordan Schultz is reporting that Ben Johnson's going to meet with the Raiders and the Patriots on Friday, the Bears and the Jaguars on Saturday.
We all silly like the mayor.